TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Thoughts on Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels as talents?
Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels on talents, just as great, completely opposite.
Who was right when it came down to the Montreal situation?
No one will ever know. Some people say to this day it's a work. I don't believe it.
I was going to ask you, what are your memories of backstage afterwards?
I don't. You see, everybody says, well, apparently Bret punched Vince in the face and he walked out. They videoed the whole thing. And not the punch, but Vince coming out and he had no marks on his face. And I asked Bret, I said, Bret, be honest. He goes, I swear on my children, it was not a work. But to this day, many wrestlers still tell me, oh, it was a work because you made Vince the hottest heel in the country and he gave Bret a great spot in WCW.
Was everyone shocked that Vince was hit by Bret?
Everybody was shocked. Yeah, shocked that he was hit by Bret and didn't have one mark on his face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believe it was true. I don't. A lot of people don't.
How did WWE change behind the scenes once Bret left for WCW?
I don't think they miss a beat. They don't miss a beat with anybody. Even when Hogan leaves, for some reason, nobody's bigger than the company.
Getting back to your career, we start to see a pattern here with a lot of talents who debut for the company, including The Rock and Bob Holly, are given to you to have their first matches in the company. Talk about what you were looking for them in new talents and when you're given this responsibility.
It's funny, like right now, I got a very good eye for spotting talent. Like when I'm in the ring with a guy, I could lock up with him and I could feel him. I could feel if he's the way he feels, his instincts. When we get pushed to a rope, how he acts. He pushed me to a corner. How does he react to that? I could feel that, and I would look for that. And I could always say, well, this guy he'll be mid card. This guy will be mid card. I could always tell. To this day, I could tell because now I'm running Michigan, and I'm getting all these new guys, and I'm looking at these guys, and I'm saying, I see money in this guy, but the guy who owns the company doesn't see the money in him, but I do. And I was in a battle royal with him, and when I got in a battle royal with him, I felt the chemistry. It's a very weird thing. It's like you have a sixth sense. You develop it. Some people in business 40 years, they never develop it. I have it. I feel I have it. I feel I could tell if a talent can make money or not, and if a talent has talent or not.
Were you ever wrong about it? Did you ever get in the ring with somebody and be, this guy's going to...
Well, I was wrong about it in the fact that if I told Vince that I felt someone was a ringer, he'd give him the push, but that they didn't work out later, I'm wrong about it that business-wise, they didn't work out.
Right.
So I wasn't wrong about that they didn't have potential because they were never given that opportunity to go that far.
Talk about the night you won the WWF title shot during a battle royal at MSG.
Oh my God, it was a house show, Madison Square Garden. It was a battle royal, and Ken Shamrock was supposed to go over. Ken Shamrock hurts his sternum, his chest, like he fractured his sternum. So the agents, now they call them producers. 10 years from now, we'll probably call them something else. But anyway, they go, Shamrock can't wrestle. He's hurt, Vince. He's hurt. Vince is just, I was kind of like listening from the outside.
Right.
And then Vince is like working on papers and stuff, and he just he always puts his glasses down, tip of his nose. Put Brooklyn Brawler over. He's local. Not knowing and not remembering that he advertised the winner of the Battle Royal wrestles the world champion at the next Garden show. And
you knew this. You just don't want to say anything.
I knew it. Who would say something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think Vince would say something if he was in that, if he did that. So then I come back and I told all the agents, Jack Lanza and all these guys, I said, you're not going to get your match. You're not going to get your match. I said, well, I'm certainly going to go to Vince. I go, Vince, if I didn't know, I says, I can't believe this. I go, you advertised the winner of the Battle Royal is wrestles the world champion in the next show. He just looks at me and he goes, you got your match. He always does it with that little bit of hey, son. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I had the match, and I was supposed to wrestle Bret. And then the Montreal Screwjob happened. But Bret, if you talk to Bret, if you ever interviewed Bret, did you ever interview Bret?
3 times, yeah.
Ask him about that. Bret told Vince, I will put Brooklyn Brawler over for the title, but I won't put Shawn over because he was that adamant about it. And he told me that if it did happen before the Montreal Screwjob, he wasn't going to kick out.
Wow.
And I said, I'm going to get in trouble. You know what's going to happen? I'll be covering him, and then he won't kick out, and then they'll say, "Hey, no, well," Vince would he'd fire me right there.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's not my fault. I would have to throw my body off of Bret, and they would say, that looks stupid, you know? But then the Montreal Screwjob happens, and then Shawn Michaels now has to take that part and wrestle me. But Shawn wasn't the Shawn he was of today. He was the guy who was like the rebel.
Yeah. What was Shawn's attitude about working you at MSG?
Well, when they went up to Shawn, a couple of the producers, and they said, well, apparently Lombardi won a Battle Royal in MSG, and then the winner of the Battle Royal wrestles the world champion. Shawn, how do you feel about this? And he, like a little kid, he goes, can you super kick? Can you leapfrog? Can you do this? Can you do that? I'll do anything you want.
Right.
And that match turned out unbelievable.
So he's all business.
It was the first day of DX. We had China and Triple H there. It was like Shawn would do that thing. I'd rock him on the ropes. He'd come, I'd clothesline him. I'd turn around. I knocked Triple H off the apron. China would come in. She'd give me a Frankenstein. It was like great, man. It was like my whole family was there. It was sold out.
Whose idea was it for you to come out to New York that night?
Yeah, the office did it.
The office did it.
They do it on their own.